Hey everybody, welcome to the Elder of Rock. I am Stephen Elder, and I just saw it was the anniversary of the release of this album. This came out in May of 1981. It is the Plasmatics, Beyond the Valley of 1984. This is their second album. After the success of their first album and tour, they started to record this album. Now, their first album was called New Hope for the Wretched. Really punk album. So after the amount of money that was put into their last album, Bruce Kirkland at Stiff Records agreed to put up the funds as long as Rob produced the album and had it done within 3 weeks at a quarter of the cost of their first album. Producer and manager Rod Swenson proposed the name Beyond the Valley of 1984, and the 1981 tour became the 1984 World Tour. And in between touring drummers, I guess they got Neal Smith of Alice Cooper to record this album, which is pretty cool. I always forget that when I play this album and I look and see who's on it. I always forget it's Neal Smith on the drums because he's he's not doing stuff like you heard him doing Alice Cooper. He really does a good job doing punk stuff, metal, whatever punk metal you want to call this, and it's he plays some really cool fast stuff, some cool hi-hat stuff on the beginning of one song, Master Plan, and some other stuff. He's just really, so he does a really good job on this album. And the album was released in a few months later, I guess. I guess during the 1981 tour promoting it, the band underwent changes out. Neal Smith didn't tour with him for this album. And so they had a couple different drummers after this, I guess maybe who toured with them. Tony Petrie, who was also in Twisted Sister at one time, and then Joey Reese, were drummers that were brought in 1981. I don't know, who did the tour exactly. The album was recorded at the Ranch in New York City, owned by John Andrew, a singer-songwriter from Texas. And I guess he did some Southern Texas like voiceover dubs for a commercial. The engineer was Eddie Chiletti. He was brought in during the second phase to overdub the guitars and vocals. And I guess mixing was unconventional for a punk record due to the rather strict parameters put on by Rod Swenson. I guess he did not want to have any wide stereo panning, and he had to be mixed at a low enough level so that he could conduct business over the phone, which is kind of funny. Uh, and yet, so like Plasmatics, the mix was done on an Oratone monitor. Oratone monitors, which, if you're familiar with those are just like little boxy speakers that they generally use just to see how things might sound on a radio or maybe like a home stereo. But they're just a little box up. I'll put up a picture up. I'll put up a picture of it. I'll find a picture and put up a picture of some Oratones. And they're generally, they're used to test mixes, but generally a main mix is not done on an Oratone. They're usually done on some nice studio monitors. But anyway, so Beyond the Valley of 1984, we're going to spend 9 weeks on the Billboard 200 charts, peaking at 142 in the summer of 1981. It was re-released in 2000, which is what I got right here. This right here. See this. This is. I used to have the vinyl, so I remember that this was pretty much like what it was. They didn't add anything to this, which is all right. That's all right. But there's the inside, and there's Wendy on a horse on the back. But also, anyway, so other personnel on this album, other than the drums, talked about the drummer. I didn't talk about anybody else. Was Wendy on vocals, of course. You got Richie Stotts, lead guitar, who was lead guitar in the Plasmatics before its whole run. Wes Beach on rhythm guitar, and Jean Beauvoir, who played bass, piano, synth. He went on to perform in Little Steven's band, Steve Van Zandt from Bruce Springsteen, I believe. And he also co-wrote some songs for some Kiss albums, mostly Thrills in the Night. And he played bass too on Kiss albums. So, and then to bring that all together. Gene Simmons produced Wendy O's first solo album, which I think I will talk about at another time. But anyway, this is a cool album. It's different than their first album. It's got a more streamlined, kind of dry kind of thing, sound to it. Oh, and the songs. Okay, yes, let's talk about the songs. You have Incantation, Master Plan, Headbanger, Summer Night, Nothing, Fast Food Service, Hitman, which is a live Milan. I don't know how live these. See, because, okay, well, I don't know how live that might be. They have 2 live tracks on here. Because if Neal Smith didn't do any of the tour before or after, I don't know who's doing the drumming on those live tracks. They're not crediting it. They're not crediting a drummer then. But anyway, Hitman, it says live. Anyway, Living Dead, which was on the last album, so that's a redo of that one. Sex Junkie, Plasma Jam, which is live, and A Pig is a Pig. And then here's the in CD. This is the 2000 release, like I said, on Gigasaurus. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I guess it's Gigasaurus Records. And so cool album, good songs on it. Master Plan also, by the way, if Wendy and Lemmy did a single together, well, Plasmatics and Motorhead did a single together. But so they did Stand By Your Man. Wendy and Lemmy did a duet, and then on the B side, Motorhead did a Plasmatics song, and the Plasmatics did a Motorhead song, and Motorhead did Master Plan, and the Plasmatics did No Class. And I think Wendy went on to do No Class on another album of hers solo. So another entertaining thing about this album, which I love, is Wendy does these little spoken word things. And here, like, I'll play this
It's
one.
going all the way, ain't right? Honey, let's eat out tonight.
Here's another one I love.
This is for all you who don't get enough. It's called Sex Junkie.
And let's just do one more.
This is for all you headbangers out there. You know
I always
who
love
you
those little
are.
spoken word things that she would do and to introduce songs. She did a few on the last album too. She didn't do any on though after that. But of course, the Plasmatics will go on to release the album after this. I believe they did the EP Metal Priestess, which is really good. And they also did an appearance on SCTV. If you could find that on YouTube, I'll put a link on that. That's a good appearance for them. And I guess they also did appearances on the Tom Snyder show for this album, and I'll put a link to that too. So that'll do it. So thank you for watching. Like I said, I'll put links in the description to all this stuff, to the album, to performances, and go check it out. Pretty cool album. Like I said, in the metal punk vein. Getting more metal than punk with this, and then the next album they would go more metal, definitely. So thank you for watching The Elder of Rock. See you next time.
This is for all you headbangers out there. You know who you are.